I never expected that a near-death experience would turn my world upside down and reveal a truth I had never considered. As a retired nurse, I thought I understood the boundaries of life and death. I had watched the monitors go flat countless times, comforting families as they wept, believing I knew the finality of mortality. But on one fateful day, my own heart stopped, and in the span of that moment, I crossed into a realm that defied every assumption I'd ever made. What I encountered was so vast, so deep, and so transformative that I can't keep it to myself. I stood face to face with Jesus Christ, and he showed me a message hidden in the alignment of the planets, one that speaks not of doom or fear, but of profound peace and boundless love. If that sounds unthinkable, I urge you to read on. What happened to me could happen to anyone, and the lesson I learned might just be the hope the world needs. For decades, I devoted my life to caring for others in hospital wards and emergency rooms. I prided myself on my composure, my ability to handle crisis after crisis without losing heart. I had rubbed shoulders with countless medical professionals, faced down dreadful illnesses, and even brushed up against death daily. Through it all, I nurtured a quiet faith that I assumed was sufficient. Occasional prayers, the occasional church visit, the occasional reflection on God's goodness. In my mind, I was spiritual enough. I believed in love, kindness, and doing no harm. After all, what more was there? I had grown comfortable with the notion that if I lived ethically and served others, I'd done my part. Little did I realize how small my worldview still was. Then came the day that changed everything. I was at home alone, reshelving old medical textbooks I'd kept for sentimental reasons. A dull ache in my shoulder blossomed into a sharp, relentless throb in my chest. My vision blurred, my knees buckled. The textbooks fell from my hands, scattering across the floor. As I realized with a clinical detachment, I'm having a heart attack. As the pain became unbearable, my mind drifted. I collapsed onto the carpet, grappling for my phone but losing the battle against the suffocating tightness. Darkness swallowed me. I remember a single panicked thought. Is this what my patients felt? In that instant, everything went silent. The agony disappeared. I was no longer bound by flesh, no longer consumed by fear. I hovered above my own body, seeing paramedics burst in, shouting commands, hooking me up to machines. I saw the frantic lines on the heart monitor. I saw them attempt CPR, faces stern with concentration. Yet from my vantage point, a soft luminescence drew me away from that scene. All the emotional turmoil of the physical world ebbed, replaced by an indescribable calm. I felt weightless, as though carried on a gentle current. The deeper I moved into this new reality, the more tangible a warm glow became, emanating from a point I could not yet see. Then the glow intensified, and from within it stepped Jesus Christ. Even in my belief, even in my nurse's heart that had whispered prayers at many a bedside, I never imagined I would stand before him like this. His presence was overwhelming, radiant, compassionate, and so deeply kind that I felt tears if I still had eyes to shed them. I wanted to speak, to apologize for my half-hearted devotion, or to ask 1,000 questions. But words escaped me. All I could do was experience that profound sense of acceptance, as though he saw every pain I'd endured, every kindness I'd offered, every heartbreak I'd witnessed, and loved me unconditionally still. He spoke my name in a voice that resonated through me. "You have cared for many," he said. "Now I want you to know how deeply you are cared for." Those words alone could have carried me for an eternity. But Jesus had more to reveal, something far greater than I'd ever learned in any textbook or from any sermon. In a heartbeat, the scene transformed. Gone was the faint outline of the hospital and the paramedics working to revive me. Instead, I found myself standing in a cosmic panorama. Stars glimmered in endless fields of light. Galaxies stretched out in a spiral dance, and planets loomed with a majesty that took my breath away. I'd always seen pictures of outer space, marveled at Hubble images, and taught the occasional star-themed lesson to curious patients' children. But this was different. I was there as though I existed outside time and matter. Planets in various colors glided on their orbits, some circled by shimmering rings, others luminous with swirling clouds. Jesus stood beside me, serene, as if this had always been his domain. Perhaps it had. "Look," he said, raising his hand. "See how they align." Suddenly, the planets began shifting in unison, drawn toward a perfect alignment. It wasn't random or accidental, it was orchestrated. I sensed the magnitude of each celestial body's gravity, yet felt no danger, no fear. Instead, an almost musical harmony filled my spirit, as if each planet played a note in a universal symphony. I watched enthralled. My logical mind wanted to label it just an unusual cosmic event, but something deeper told me it was far more. A sign, a gesture of the divine. "This alignment is not about destruction," Jesus explained, his voice gentle but firm. "It is about peace, the peace that humanity seeks and struggles to find. The heavens are my creation, and they echo the message I've been sharing since the dawn of time. Let there be love among you." In that moment, the meaning of these celestial movements clicked. They formed a language of unity and cooperation, each orbit symbolizing a community of believers, each alignment whispering a secret about oneness, about how even seemingly isolated worlds can come together in perfect harmony. With a subtle motion, Jesus showed me glimpses of history, civilizations long gone, times when unusual planetary alignments coincided with leaps in human empathy and cooperation. I saw empires that soared on the wings of peace, only to collapse when greed and hatred overshadowed compassion. In each era, the universe had provided signs, urging people to remember love and unity, to uphold kindness. Yet so often we had missed it. We were distracted by wars, prejudices, and petty differences. How many times, I wondered, had the heavens pleaded with us to see each other not as adversaries but as family, united under one cosmic Father? Jesus' gaze carried sadness at the missed opportunities. "I have shown them love repeatedly," he said, "but many choose fear over peace. The alignment of the planets is a reminder that creation itself flourishes in harmony, and so should you." My heart clenched. I had cared for thousands of patients, seen disease after disease fueled by stress, loneliness, and bitterness. What if the remedy was simpler than I thought? What if the entire cosmos was pointing us toward a radical love that dissolves barriers, that fosters healing? Then I saw a vision of Earth. People from every nation standing outside, watching the sky as the planets began to align. Some watched through telescopes in wonder. Others scrolled through social media posts about it with casual curiosity. But a select few felt a profound stirring in their souls, a call to let go of anger and division. In one scene, I witnessed neighbors reconciling after years of bitterness, hugging as tears flowed. In another, I saw a community rally around someone who had been marginalized, offering acceptance and dignity. Each small act of kindness seemed to ripple outward, igniting transformations in entire families, neighborhoods, and even global policies. And as love replaced fear, the planet thrived. Environmental crises improved as people realized we share one fragile home. Conflicts decreased as empathy replaced hostility. An undercurrent of peace flowed through societies once marred by tension. It wasn't utopia, but it was enough to prove that love can drastically reshape reality, just as these orbits, once separate, now formed a beautiful pattern in the sky. My mind whirled, recognizing that this wasn't merely some cosmic spectacle. It was a personal call. I needed to bring this message of peace and love back, especially to a world so often convinced that hatred and division are inevitable. Jesus turned to me, calm yet filled with a divine urgency. "You must return and tell them. The universe itself testifies that no matter how separate your lives may seem, you were made to align in harmony. You were created to love, to heal, and to live at peace with one another." My heart pounded with the weight of that responsibility. I saw in my mind's eye the many patients who had died believing they were alone or unloved. I thought of the families who parted ways, never speaking again over small misunderstandings. Could we correct such heartbreak if we truly embraced the cosmic call for unity? I yearned to remain in that wondrous realm forever, but I felt Jesus gently press me to act. Suddenly, everything faded. The cosmic expanse, the shimmering planets, even the comforting warmth of Jesus' presence. I dropped through darkness, a sensation like tumbling headlong through time and space. A surge of pain seized my chest. I gasped. My eyes flew open. Bright hospital lights glared overhead, and I heard a machine steadily beeping. Doctors and nurses surrounded me, shock evident on their faces. "She's back," one declared, trying to contain both relief and disbelief. Tubes and wires connected me to an array of machines. My entire body felt weak, but a new fire burned within my spirit. I had survived, not just physically, but spiritually. I had touched a realm that told me the cosmos is far more purposeful than we ever imagined. Recovery was no simple feat. I had endured a major cardiac event, and each day brought new physical challenges. Yet the real challenge was conveying the message of cosmic alignment and divine love to a society bombarded by cynicism. Some dismissed my story as a near-death hallucination. Others listened politely, uncertain how to reconcile my testimony with their worldview. A few were moved to tears, saying they had felt the same longing for unity but never had the words for it. In the corners of hospital corridors, I whispered my story to former colleagues, urging them to remember that the greatest cure often lies in empathy and understanding. Some days I'd pray with families who'd lost a loved one, telling them I believed love never truly dies, that the entire cosmos resonates with it. Each time I recounted my experience, how the planets aligned not as omens of doom, but as beacons of peace. I saw a spark in the eyes of those listening. Something inside them woke up, as if a dormant seed recognized the sun. Were there times I doubted myself? Yes. In the quiet of night, shadows of skepticism loomed, but I recalled Jesus' voice, the love in his gaze, and the unimaginable harmony of those celestial orbits. No dream could have conjured such clarity or invoked such a radical shift in my entire being. I realized that faith and reason aren't enemies. As a nurse, I had spent my life studying the human body's intricate systems, admiring the wonders of biology. Now I saw that wonder extended beyond Earth, throughout the stars, weaving an intricate story of unity. If the cosmos can align in such perfect harmony, can't we choose to do the same in our relationships, communities, and nations? That, I believe, is the heart of the message. We have a cosmic invitation to live in peace and to love one another, crossing boundaries we once thought impossible to bridge. Though my life is forever changed, I don't believe this message was meant for me alone. It's for you, for anyone reading these words. The planets will continue their dance, sometimes aligning in ways that baffle astronomers and captivate stargazers. And each alignment whispers the same challenge. Will you listen? Will you embrace love or continue to let division define you? I've chosen to carry this truth wherever I go, speaking to anyone willing to hear. I invite you to do the same. When you gaze at the night sky, whether you see a normal cluster of stars or an extraordinary alignment, remember that it's not random. It's a reminder that we are called to harmonize, to set aside hostility, and to live in a spirit of compassion. Yes, the world is complex. Conflicts, grief, and anger abound, but so does the potential for love. So does the possibility of healing. Just as the planets find their courses in the vast emptiness of space, we too can find our path in an often harsh world by aligning ourselves with an unbreakable love that transcends our differences. If this story resonates with you, let it stir your heart to seek peace, to mend relationships, to approach strangers with kindness. Drop a comment below so we can pray for you. And if you want to hear more testimonies like this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We have a choice every day to take small steps toward unity. The planets may align in silent grandeur, but we have voices to speak life, arms to embrace each other, and hearts to love beyond measure. Will you respond to the cosmic call? Because if a retired nurse once tethered to the logic of medicine can discover that the greatest truth is love, then imagine what you can discover when you look to the heavens and say yes to peace.